Hello everyone, welcome to The Green Man. Hope you're all doing good and well. So for this Friday's album review, I'm reviewing the third studio album from Alvvays and their release Blue Rev, which came out today on Friday the 7th of October via Polyvinyl and Transgressive. And the album is 38 minutes in length, it's 14 tracks. In fact, all the tracks on here are roughly kind of 2 to 3 minutes long. Not one track, therefore outstays its welcome. If anything, one or two of the tracks on here, I think, actually slightly understay their welcome. So in Alvvays, I've got the booklet here. I'm just going to read out who does what. And we've got Molly Rankin on vocals, guitar and production. Alec O'Hanley on guitars, keyboard, bass, production, mixing and engineering. Kerry McClellan on keyboards and vocal duties as well. Sheridan Riley on the drums. And new band member Abby Blackwell here is on bass guitar, taking over from former band member Brian Murphy. So I reviewed their album Antisocialites in 2017, I think last year. I will drop a link maybe in the description box to that review if you're an Alvvays fan or if you're just interested in seeing or hearing a bit more about this band. Because that album was a fantastic album. It was one of my favourites of that year. Definitely it was in my top 5, maybe in my number 2 or 3 of 2017. And I did not think that, after that masterpiece of an album, that I would get an album that would be equal to that or better. I thought, surely they can't do as well as Antisocialites, but I am very happy to be proven wrong big time, because this is a wonderful album again from Alvvays that is maybe it's a bit longer than Antisocialites for a start, and it may just be even better than that, partly because of that actually, because there's more here to enjoy than there was even on Antisocialites. This is a great Dreampop album. It is pretty much Dreampop perfection. If you're a fan of shoegaze or Dreampop, I am fairly positive that you'll like this. So do give it a spin, because it has not disappointed me in the least. Not in the least. So let's go into the tracks of Alvvays a bit more. Actually, before I do go into the tracks, I do want to say a reason I like this band as well a lot. And it's because, they're not just about sonic textures and sounds. I mean, a lot of bands of this genre obviously emphasize more on that side of things. They're not necessarily so much about lyrics. And the thing to remember about Alvvays is that they also are really good lyricists. I think they have short, snappy, witty lyrics to a lot of their songs. Not only that, though, is the singing is pretty clear. I mean, and I think the songwriting is also very sharp. I mean, they had so many nuances. You think you maybe listen to a song and you think maybe it's quite a simple song on that they've done, but actually there's quite a lot of complexity and nuances to the way they progress their tracks in the short space of time that their tracks are. They pack quite a lot into them, and you have to listen out for them a little bit, otherwise you might, you blink and you miss the subtle changes, whether it's in vocal melodies or keyboard lines or guitar lines. You may miss out. So it's the thing to remember with this band, is that they are not only, I think, about just sound textures, they're the full package. They're just a really good band. And I think, to me, they're pretty underrated as well. So anyway, let's go into the tracks. So you've got Pharmacist, the opening song, uses, that layered reverb and distortion that sort of will be reminiscent to anyone familiar with My Bloody Valentine. There is definitely that sort of sound on this opening track, with a nice kind of, nice vocal touches from Molly here as well. And it's a good opening track, which to me actually is maybe a touch on the short side. There were highlights on this track. I wouldn't have minded them repeating. Moments I wouldn't have minded them repeating. I would have been quite happy with that, for this song, Pharmacist. Easy on Your Own, another really great track, another standout track on an album of a few of those. Pressed, I liked quite a bit, another track I liked on this album, which kind of showcases the, I think, the talents of Alec O'Hanley, and it's like he's channeling his inner Johnny Marr here with a sound which will be recognisable to listeners of the Smiths, for example. Really great song, I liked Pressed. And then you go to Many Mirrors, which is like, it has the sort of style of a song from their first album, I think their self-titled album, but it adds in the skill, I think, in production from that second album, Antisocialites, and you have a really fantastic song kind of midway through this album with Many Mirrors. A really great song. And the chorus is Dreampop perfection. Velveteen, I think you get more clever vocal changes from Molly. Some real highs as well in her singing towards the end. I mean, I think she's sometimes unfairly criticised for her singing. I've seen this online. She gets some unfair criticism. You know, people sometimes get too hooked on pitch perfect voices sometimes. And the thing is, whether or not you like Molly's vocals, I think that they are a perfect fit for this music. I mean, honestly do. And I think she's getting better and better with her vocals from the first album, in my opinion. I just think that, you know, I think her singing is great personally. I have no issue with it whatsoever. Tile by Tile, love the keyboard work in this from Kerry. I think it's really great. I like sort of some weird tuning changes that they do towards the end of this track. I like that a lot as well, I think. Did I mention Velveteen? Yes, the great vocals of Molly in that track. Pomeranian, I think it's Pomeranian Spinster, has this sort of, you know, pop punk style, which they used a bit in Antisocialites as well. I quite like that track too. And Belinda Says was a masterpiece of a song, I thought. Born in Bristol and Lottery Noises is also very, very strong songs on the album too. So overall, the score of this album, I don't think I've given this score before on the channel, and maybe I did once last year. Maybe I did with an album last year thinking about it, but this is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. I don't think, as I say, we may not have had that before on the Green Man. So yeah, I think this is a really special album, and for me is the best dream pop or indie pop, whatever you want to call it, album of this style that I've heard in 2022. By quite some distance as well. By quite some distance. It's fantastic. It is near perfect. The only reason I've taken 0.5 off is because I do feel like one or two of the tracks were just a little short, and they could have been longer, and it would have made this album pretty much, to me, perfection. And yeah, what a great album. And they have not disappointed. They have somehow exceeded my very high expectations. So great work always again. So from me, hope you've enjoyed this album review. Do drop in the comments what you thought of this album. You know, are you as blown away as it by me, or do you think I'm overhyping this a bit? Do let me know how you think this compares to their previous efforts as well. I welcome comments and contributions. Otherwise, from me, take care everybody. Have great Friday evenings. From me, bye for now.